Hello friends, it's me, and today let's watch I Miss YouTube Rewinds from the Odd Ones Out. Together, let's go, let's start. Thank you.
Guys, I have a brilliant idea. What if we do the In My Feelings challenge? What do you think?
What's the In My Feelings challenge?
It was that dance people did outside of their moving cars in 2018.
That's stupid.
I know!
That's stupid. Yes. Alright, it comes from good intention, but it is bad execution. Especially when you're showing your vulnerabilities, your weakness, your information, your private life to other people, and they use it against you in the future. Could be 1 month later, could be 1 year later, could be 5 days later, could be 10 years later. It sucks. It sucks when you share this private information, this vulnerability, this weakness to them, and they use it against you, and they do character assassination against you. It sucks.
Weird to me that YouTube Rewind 2018 came out over 5 years ago, which makes it old enough to be something to reminisce about. There's a fresh generation of iPad kids who don't get to experience the yearly tradition of coming together as a community and watching the newest YouTube Rewind. And absolutely hate it. And in case you all forgot, the website YouTube.com used to make these celebratory videos showcasing all the important events and memes that had happened throughout the year. And all these YouTubers would get together and do a silly little dance, and everyone had a grand old time. And since
Yep, the Odd Ones Out was included.
these videos were produced by the very platform you're currently watching this on,
YouTube.
Rewinds would always receive a lot of attention. Now, according to my memory, YouTube Rewinds were pretty well received. At first. But you see, as time went on, the general public and the YouTubers involved started to grow weary. People were throwing around words like cringe and this isn't what YouTube represents, and
Exactly, there's a disconnect. There was a lack of relatability. YouTubers as a whole, we recognize that we are the small individuals. We are not the big corporations, which sadly the upper management is like, gosh, be more relatable, please.
And that's that. That's that. And it all accumulated to YouTube's magnum opus, YouTube Rewind 2018. Everyone controls Rewind. Hashtag YouTube Rewind. Which is a video that was so universally hated that it holds the world record for most disliked video ever. A record it will now hold perpetually because of the whole dislike thing. The audience wasn't happy, the YouTubers involved weren't happy, until finally YouTube snapped and was like, alright, fine, if no one wants it, we'll stop doing it. We were just doing this as a favor anyways. And so YouTube discontinued the Rewind project indefinitely.
Don't say that. Please don't say that. You are doing it a favor for us, but you are doing it with a bad approach to it. You are approaching it wrongly. You should be approaching it as a more relatable point of view. A common man point of view. Not from the top, upper echelon point of view. You recognize that's right. You are at the wrong.
With 2018 being the last time we ever got a Rewind.
What about me, James?
How dare you even consider yourself worthy of being called a Rewind 2019? A top 10 video? Really? At least 2011 had Rebecca Black hosting. Leave 2019 before I tell you the top 10 ways on how I'm gonna hurt you. So getting back to the actual last YouTube Rewind, you know, the one with the most dislikes in the whole world, if we skip to 3 minutes and 2 seconds into that video, we see, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. Oh geez, that's me. I know I'm a little late to the party, but since we've all had enough time to grow and reflect as people, I would like to finally share some of my thoughts and experiences working on YouTube Rewind 2018. The first thing I want to talk about is how none of the YouTubers involved got any type of monetary compensation. At least none of the ones I talked to did. This was a big issue that a lot of other YouTubers had in their expose videos, but I personally was not bothered by it. Was I getting paid in exposure? Yes. In fact, I actually lost money doing this because I had to get my friend Rush to animate some of the scenes, so I, paid him for his work. But what I'm trying to tell you is that as much as I'm about to complain about YouTube Rewind, don't feel any sort of empathy for me, okay? I did this to myself. I think the best piece of advice I could give you is that if YouTube ever reaches out to you and is like, hey, do you want to be a part of Rewind? You should say, let me read the script first. But I didn't know that in 2018. And I also didn't know that in 2017. If you look at YouTube
Alright, I will take that into consideration, the odd ones out. So his recommendation is, let me read the script first. That is a very good advice. I'll take it. Thank you.
Rewind 2017 and watch all the way to the end. Keep going. Right there. Right there in the credits is me and Jaden doing a floss in space. It was a lot cooler back then. They also wanted all the animators to animate our characters in the middle of a jello fight, and I think they wanted to put our cartoon characters over footage of real-life YouTubers in the middle of a jello fight, but they gave us no direction, and I don't think they ever filmed a scene where they were like, okay, real-life YouTubers, remember to leave that spot empty because that's where the animated guy's gonna go. Because they gotta plan that kind of stuff out ahead of time, right? So instead, they just threw our unusable animated jello fight with no background at the very end as this extremely out-of-place post-credit scene. So 2017 was pretty uneventful for me. Like, yeah, I was in YouTube Rewind, but, I was in the credits. Who's going to stick around and watch the credits, But 2018 was going to be my year. Rewind wanted me back, and this time they were giving me a speaking role. Holy shit. My line was going to be, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. And then the YouTuber Swoozy, who would be in his real-life human form, would say, right? And then we'd fist bump Who Framed Roger Rabbit style. So do you remember that trend in 2018 where people were doing that dance outside of their moving car? Well, apparently that was called the In My Feelings challenge. Back in 2018, I didn't even know it was called that. I thought it was called stupid. Now, if you've at all watched YouTube Rewind 2018, Everyone Controls Rewind, hashtag YouTube Rewind, you might be wondering why after I specifically suggest we do the In My Feelings challenge, that not a single YouTuber or talk show host can be seen dancing outside of a moving vehicle. That's because YouTube didn't want to promote unsafe behavior. So they didn't want to show anyone dancing outside of a car. So they weren't really doing the challenge then, were they? YouTube, if you don't want to promote unsafe behavior, don't promote the In My Fucking Feelings challenge. Kids are still gonna look up the In My Feelings challenge and then watch multiple videos of people dancing outside of cars on YouTube.
And they'll contribute to the odd ones out saying it. So, first of all, the action in of itself is just stupid. It's a moving car. Please don't do that. Then second of all, it propels to sharing information, our feelings, our vulnerabilities, our weaknesses, openly, which is a double-edged sword that people do not recognize. It's a double-edged sword. Yes, it's more relatable, it's more connected, but at the same time, in the future, which we don't know, most of the time human beings will use that weakness, the vulnerability against you, and it sucks.
Don't want to promote unsafe behavior. It's on your platform, dog. Looking back, that should have been my first red flag, but I was still optimistic. I was so excited to be a part of this huge project, and I knew there were going to be a bunch of YouTubers involved, but I was going to be one of the few animated ones. I was going to stand out. I was going to be the odd one out. Knowing how Rewind handled animation in 2017, when they asked me to be a part of 2018, I told them, hey, love the line, but I think it would be a good idea if we met in person, and that way you can show me everything you're planning, and I can ask you all the right questions. And they agreed and invited me to visit the set the day they were filming Swoozy's line. So I was there, physically behind the camera, when Swoozy said, right, and then fist bumped nothing. I got to experience what it was like to be on a real film set with actors and directors and costumes and catering and makeup, and it was a lot, honestly, for just one line. And maybe it was because they had booked Swoozie for a full hour, but they had this beautiful man say, right? And then fist bump nothing no less than 50 times. It's one line, guys. I think we got it. And then after take 87, my stomach sank when the director said, okay, Swoozie, how about you try saying, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge? Wait a minute. That's my line. Are we changing it? Which line am I animating now? Do you want me to do both, just like how you got Swoozie to do both? And what, you'll pick your favorites? I asked the director right there which line was I animating, and he said he was going to let me know. And then we went outside and filmed Swoozie dance in front of a brick wall, and which parts of him dancing was I going to animate my guy next to? He said he was going to let me know that too. So I took all the information I learned that day and referred it back to the other animators. What they wanted were 2 shots. They wanted 5 seconds of our characters dancing, and they wanted another shot of all of us sitting around a campfire singing horribly. After doing some quick math, I realized that if all 7 of us animators did a 5-second dance, that would be 35 seconds of cartoons dancing, which for a YouTube rewind would be a lot of screen time. I had a sinking feeling that they weren't going to be using our full 5-second clips. And they didn't even let me know. Now, for my life-changing speaking role, I had to record my line on my own, which normally wouldn't be a problem. But in late 2018, I had just moved to California, and I didn't have my own setup set up. And to make the whole situation worse, I was only given 1 week to finish my animation and record my line. So, the clock was ticking. Now, I think the second best piece of advice I could give you is that if you're ever in need of a quick jerry-rigged sound booth, go into your closet and hide under a comforter. In fact, hello, real-life human James here, coming to you on a Blue Yeti inside of a bathroom. The acoustics in here are terrible. Could you imagine voicing a cartoon character in this? Guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. See, it doesn't work. Now, all right, and now we're here inside of our makeshift sound booth, and you can hopefully hear the quality change right away, guys, let's do the In My Feelings challenge. See, we don't need expensive sound booths to have a good time. But back in 2018, I wanted...
Oh, that actually makes a difference for animated videos. Thank you so much, Odd1 for teaching us. I did not know that. It's like, okay, cool, the audio there's reverbs, there's echo, but on a day-to-day basis, like what I'm doing right now, I'm using the Logitech Brio webcam as the microphone, because the webcam have inbuilt microphones. So, yeah, but for animated video, in this case particularly, wow, that's clever. Thank you so much for teaching us. Thank you.
The most important line in my career to be recorded in a professional sound booth. Luckily, I was in luck. You see, California is one of the few places home to something called a YouTube space. A YouTube space advertises itself as a place to aid content creators, providing them with facilities to create content for their YouTube channels. And to access said facilities, you needed at least 10,000 subscribers. A little weird they put a number on it, but I get it. I had just moved to California. I knew I was going to be hitting this place up all the time. When I first went to the YouTube space, I didn't...
Wait a minute. Does Singapore have one? Just curious. Because, hello from Singapore. I'm just another average Singaporean. I'm Humdrum Singaporeans. Yeah.
Call ahead or set up an appointment or anything because there wasn't an option to do so on the website, but I figured they would have to help me out, right? The line I needed to record was for a YouTube rewind, and you're a YouTube space. Like, Susan personally asked me to be here, So I drove an hour to the space, I went inside, showed them my sub count, and they said that in order to use the facilities, I had to fill out all these forms on my computer back home. But it's for a YouTube rewind. Then I drove another hour back home and started filling out the forms, but by the time I got to the quizzes, I realized, I think this wild goose chase is probably going to take longer than a week to resolve. With time running out, I gingerly asked my new friend Aaron if I could use his setup, and he said yes, and I didn't even have to show him my sub count. I mean, I showed him anyway, though. So the line you hear me say in the 2018 Rewind was recorded in the Game Grumps office, which I think means, at the very least, Game Grumps deserves to be credited in the description of Rewind. Come on, YouTube. They were the only ones who took me in when your own company turned me away. The deadline was fast approaching.
The unfortunate thing is YouTube is a big corporate at that point in time. So there's a lot of back and forth bureaucracy in which send an email, send an application form, and the form have to send it. It will just cause delay after delay, over delay, over delay, over delay, over delay, over delay, over delay. And it sucks when you just want to get things done simple, easy. When you have just one simple line. Gosh!
I mean, it was fast approaching as soon as I got it, but I've been in crunch mode before, and I'm sure the nameless video editors were just trying to hit their impossibly tight deadlines too. I reminded myself what I was making all of these sacrifices for. Everyone was going to unanimously love this video and what it represents, and look at my channel afterwards and subscribe. December 6th, 2018. A day that changed history. It was raining that day, and the world was exposed to what YouTube had been cooking up. And they all collectively hated it. Like, a lot. Like, to the point where I would be lucky if I didn't lose subscribers. I think the audience knew that none of the YouTubers involved had any say in the creative process. We were just reading our lines from YouTube's script, you know? So at least I get to say I'm in the most disliked video in history, and no one's too mad at me. Right? So, was all of this stress worth it? No. I got paid in exposure, and the exposure was overwhelmingly negative. In fact, I think Rewind was only positive for one other YouTuber. Do you have any guesses? Jaden motherfucking Animations.
Because she included PewDiePie!
Pulled off the biggest prank of 2018. One of the reasons people disliked 2018's Rewind was because PewDiePie, the #1 YouTuber at the time, wasn't included. But Jaden, being the genius that she is, knew he wasn't going to be included again, so she snuck in a PewDiePie reference into her 5-second dance, and no one caught it, and it made the final cut. Jaden was crowned the least cringy part of Rewind, and everyone loved her, and she got a big boost in subscribers, and all I gotta say to that is, good job, Jaden.
Good job.
How are you enjoying that cake and eating it too? Now, there were a lot of valid reasons why people disliked 2018's Rewind. One of them being that the video starts out with Will Smith? He's not a YouTuber. But it didn't seem to mind when 2016 started out with The Rock and 2017 started with The Colbert Show, but whatever. And I don't know if you remember what YouTube was like in 2018, but it was in the news a couple of times, you know, over a few small things. However, with...
It sucks that YouTube corporate ponders to the large stars, the famous stars, and they fail to recognize that what is keeping YouTube afloat is the vast majority of the smaller content creators. We are the foundational base of what makes YouTube.
All of that being said, I do genuinely miss YouTube Rewinds. Getting to wake up and go, wow, it's December and a new YouTube Rewind just dropped. I'm gonna watch it. And then I get to see a handful of YouTubers I recognize do a dance and not recognize any of the other YouTubers. And then I get to see the rest of the internet's reaction to it. It's better than Christmas for me. Even if it's the cringiest video ever, we still all watched it together as a community. And I think that's what I miss the most, when YouTube felt more like a community. As long as it's not a top 10 video, I welcome back YouTube Rewinds with open arms. And if they do make a comeback, I don't think I'd want to be a part of them. Not because I got burned in 2018, but because I wouldn't want to rob another ignorant YouTuber of the once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to be taken advantage of and work for free, and be a part of history. For now, we just have to live with the 9 rewinds we do have. But if you're like me and are just dying to see more YouTube Rewind content, And I know you are because you're still here.
I'm
I
here.
discovered a pretty massive Easter egg. In the description of Rewind 2018 is a link to See All the Easter Eggs. And for your viewing pleasure are 13 brand new shorts that I can only describe as skits that were edited together with existing Rewind footage. I don't think that's what an Easter egg is. They're not that funny and are pretty hard to watch, but isn't that what Rewind's all about? Have a good night.
Kiki, do you love me? Are you riding? Don't you ever say, 'cause I want you.
And I
And I want you.
And I want you.
Don't you ever, hey?
Oh, that's
I don't know the rest of the words.
that's it.
That's
All
all.
right, I think we got it.
Alright, thank you so much for watching this video from the Odd Ones Out. This video is just incredible. Alright, I'm watching this video is because I took reference from Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast mentioned the PewDiePie. The PewDiePie YouTube Rewind 2018 was what inspired Mr. Beast to do this video. And I want to see the YouTube Rewind 2018. Why was it so bad? Why was it so cringy? Why was it so unrelatable? Why was it so disconnected with the vast majority of YouTube users back then? And I see why. I genuinely see why. In which Will Smith, to start off, Will Smith is not a YouTuber. He's a big celebrity. He's a multi-millionaire, billionaire. Okay. Either way, he's super famous. He's not relatable content creator that normal individuals is able to relate to. So yeah. And yeah. Anyways, hope you enjoyed. Subscribe. Thank you. Thank you so much.